Okay, so welcome again to class, everybody. I'm so glad to see you here, and happy almost Valentine's Day. I'm very excited for us to make some Valentine's Day treats that we can share with our friends and family. If you don't know me already, I'm Kelly. I'm a Culikid's executive director, and Culikid, we're a nonprofit based in New York City, and we provide healthy culinary programs for people of all abilities, focused on social independence and motor skills. As I mentioned, the class is being recorded. So if you don't wish to be in the recording, you can turn your camera off. But we do love to see how everybody's progressing with their cooking and answer questions from what we can see on the screen. So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and keep it on. And then we also take some screenshots that we share on our website and social media. So if you don't want to be in those, you can either turn your camera off or you can let me know in the chat, and I can also make sure that your face isn't shared. Everybody came in muted. There's a lot of background noise in cooking, so that's going to make it a little bit easier, but you can totally unmute yourself if you have questions as we get started. And you can also use the chat to ask questions. So if you want, you can practice that now by saying hello, and also the fruit that you're using. So I mentioned that you could use a bunch of different things. I'm going to demo mine with blueberries, but would love to hear if anybody's doing anything different, so I can talk to that. Our next class, we actually have two that are upcoming. We've got roasted chicken, chickpeas, and tomatoes, a nice nutritious dinner coming up on March 19th. And then we're also going to do carrot cake April 16th. So those links will be sent in the chat and also emailed. And then lastly, if you're cooking at home and somebody's there with you taking pictures, we'd love to see those pictures. So if you take pictures and want to share them, I'll put those links in the chat too. You can email them to us or you can tag us on social media. So I'm going to enter that now. And then if you've done our classes before, you know that sometimes we have two people from our team and somebody will manage the chat. I can still see the chat, so I can see everything that's coming in, but I will not be typing our ingredients into the chat since it's just me today. So if you miss something that I say or need me to repeat something, please just unmute and ask me to do so. Awesome. So I'm seeing some greetings in the chat. Jetsons are using blueberries too. Okay, thought about frozen strawberries. That would work great. Blueberries from Ryu as well. And Gianni is using blackberries. That sounds yummy. So you can use any number of berries, and also the option to do other fruit as well. So I have frozen blueberries. You can use fresh or frozen. Okay, so I just want to talk about a couple things before we get started. One is to make sure that you have your heart-shaped template. If you don't, you can just make square hand pies. That totally works. And if you don't have the actual cookie cutter, I sent a paper template. Awesome. I see some people have their paper template. So I'm going to show you how to do both, use the cookie cutter and the template. And I think that's all I wanted to mention before we get started. Let's do this. Okay. Whoops. There we go. Okay. So we're going to start by preheating our ovens. We are going to start after that with our pie filling mixture. So if your oven takes really quick to preheat or you don't want to turn on because it's too hot, in New York, it's actually really warm today for February. You can wait a little bit, but I'm going to do mine now so it's ready. So it's supposed to be 425 degrees. Okay. Whoops. Awesome. Oh, and I see Joshy is doing apples. I just saw that update in the chat. Awesome. The apples totally works too. Are your apples already diced?
What are you going to say?
They are diced.
They're not. We have a cool.
Ah, okay. Okay, so Joshy, go ahead and slice up your apples now using your machine. Everybody else's, we don't have to do any prep. We're not chopping them, so we're just going to measure ours out. So we're going to do 2 cups of our fruit right into a saucepan. Okay, so I've got my frozen bag of blueberries here. I also want to mention, somebody mentioned in the chat they might have to leave early. That's totally okay. You're welcome to leave whenever you have to and finish
Is
on
it
your own.
2 cups or 4 cups?
2 cups. But I do think our class will actually go quickly today. So there's a chance we can
2
be
cups
done
to
in
what,
45 minutes.
Kelly?
Oh, the fruit. So are you using blueberries? 2 cups of blueberries. Okay, so I've got 1. And then 2. It doesn't have to be totally exact. So my bag has a handful left, so I'm gonna just dump in the whole bag. What am I gonna do with those 3 frozen blueberries? Okay, so we've got the blueberries in the saucepan. We're gonna add more to it, but in the meantime, you can turn this on. So let me,
I missed how much sugar?
oh, we didn't get to the sugar yet. So far, just 2 cups of fruit.
Okay.
Oops, sorry, new laptop top stand. So thank you for bearing with me. All right, so you can turn on your fruit once you have it in the saucepan to medium heat. Okay, so we've got that cooking. And meanwhile, we are going to measure out some sugar. Is everybody ready to measure? I see actually people still measuring fruit. So I'm gonna wait a second before I check in with you all. Thank you, Gianni. So if you're also new to class, we also do check-ins with thumbs up so you can tell me when you're ready for the next step. Great, Emma, thank you. Joshy, do you have a question? Are you good?
Do you,
You done? Super awesome. That was so fast, especially since you had to do some peeling and chopping. Okay, I'm gonna check in with everybody now. Thumbs up when you have your fruit in your saucepan. Thumbs up, okay. Great, great, great. I see a lot. Okay, I have, I'm looking at a lot of screens. So if I do say that we're ready to move on, you haven't given me a thumbs up, just let me know to wait. Thanks, Enrique. Thank you, Emma, Ava. I think everybody's ready. So I'm gonna move on. But again, tell me if I missed you. We'll wait for you. Okay, so we're gonna do sugar. Sugar is gonna be 1/3 cup. And we're gonna put it in a separate bowl because we're gonna mix the sugar and cornstarch together before adding it. Okay, so I've got my 1/3 measuring cup. It says 1/3. And I'm going to scoop into my sugar. Okay, see, it's a little bit over the edge, so I'm gonna flatten it out. So I have exactly 1/3 cup, and I'm gonna put it into my small bowl. Okay, I see everybody's working hard at getting their sugar in there. Okay, who is ready for the next ingredient? When you have your sugar in your bowl, you ready? Awesome, seeing lots of thumbs up. Great, thanks, Johnny, Ava, Emma, Beta. I saw a bunch of you before too, so I'm sorry if I didn't say everybody. Jutsons, thank you, Ryu. Okay, anybody need more time? Hands up if you need more time. Okay, we're gonna do cornstarch next. Does anybody know what cornstarch does? You can unmute yourself if you want to say, if you know what cornstarch does.
It makes it thicker.
Yeah, exactly. So we add it to sauces and things like that to thicken it up. So that way it's not just liquid, it can like hold its shape a little bit, hold together. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons, okay? So I've got my tablespoon. It's the larger one if you're trying to decide. the larger T, or it has TBS on it. So again, we want to level it out. That is much more. So I'm going to just take the back of the utensil this time, then my finger, and flatten it out. Put it into our sugar bowl. Okay, so we're doing that twice. So that's 1 tablespoon so far. And this is 2. Okay, and then we're gonna just give it a little bit of a mix. You can use a whisk, a fork, a spoon, or I'm just using my tablespoon here. I'm just gonna try to incorporate this. Okay. Is everybody, sorry, I still see people measuring their cornstarch, so I'll wait a second before I check in with you. Okay, when everybody has their cornstarch mixed in with their sugar, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Larissa, Veronica, thank you. Ava, I think I saw Emma, Enrique, Gianni, Zeta. Am I right on that? Caitlin, are you good? Judson's, thank you. Caitlin, awesome. Joshy, great, everybody. Okay, so we are going to put it into our pot. We're gonna be really careful because it's hot. And you need a spoon to mix it with when it goes in there.
We'll put it in the pot, right?
Right, so you're putting in the cornstarch and the sugar with your fruit. And if your pot isn't already on, you can turn it on now. If your stove, I mean, isn't on. Okay, and then I'm gonna give it a mix. So you can see I'm waiting until all of my sugar and cornstarch dissolves, until I can see no more white. Okay, and you see, so far mine has released a bunch of juices. Depends on what time you got yours started. Yours probably has too, if you're on the same timeline as me. Okay, so now we just need to wait a little while. So we're going to cook this for about 5 minutes and get the mixture to thicken up. So the cornstarch is helping to thicken it, but it takes some time with cooking in order for it to work. So right now you can just be monitoring your fruit mixture on your stove.
Shall we put water on it or not?
Nope, you don't need any water. Remind me, Enrique, you're using blueberries, right? Yes, okay. So the blueberries, if they haven't already, they will release their own liquid. And because it's a pie filling rather than something like a syrup, we actually don't want it to be extremely liquidy. I'm not sure how the apples would go. If your apples aren't releasing enough mixture, you might want to add like a little bit of water just to create some sauce there to thicken up. And that's my oven telling me that it's preheated. Okay, so right now we're just monitoring our mixture, mixing it every couple of minutes. You also kind of want to bring it up to a boil. So let's see if we can get some bubbles. So sorry, I just did something without explaining. Okay, so to get it to a boil, you want to raise your heat, right? So you want to, when you're cooking on low, you're not going to get those big bubbles, but you can raise your heat a little bit if your mixture hasn't started to bubble yet. Okay, we want to see just a little bit of bubbles going on. And does anybody have any questions about their mixture or anything? No questions. Awesome. Okay, so my mixture has just started to kind of stick to the bottom. It started to thicken up on the bottom because that's where all the heat is. So I'm turning my mixture back down.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
We were using like a mixture of frozen fruit, so it is a little bit more liquidy than you probably want. So like, should we just keep cooking it until it
Yeah, I think it will
evaporates?
thicken up because mine was actually frozen as well. And with the
Then
2
you fill the
tablespoons
tin-
of cornstarch, it really thickens up. I don't know if you can tell. So
Okay,
I
yeah,
had a
we
ton of
do.
liquid. Yeah. So just
So
keep cooking.
keep cooking. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That cornstarch is really going to thicken it up. And like we've just talked about, you do want it to be thick, right? Because it's a pie filling. So when you put it into your pie, you want it to stay where it is and not run all over the pie dough. So mine is totally done. So I'm going to show you again what that looked like. So see, like when I scrape the bottom, see how it's not really liquid anymore? It really is keeping its shape like a jam kind of texture. So mine is good to take off of the stove. And if yours isn't there yet, keep going. But if yours is there, we're going to transfer it to a bowl. I'm going to give this a quick rinse so it doesn't have raw cornstarch in there. And now that we've heated it up, we want to cool it down, which is why we're going to transfer it to a bowl. And then I'm going to stick it in my freezer while I do the rest of the work for this. So I'm going to start scooping, and I'm being super careful. If you need 2 hands to hold this, then go ahead and grab some oven mitts or pot holders when you're touching the hot pan. And make sure that you're mixing, because that's how I found out mine was done. I was waiting for it to boil. And instead, I found when I mixed it that it was already thickening on the bottom. So the boil was not going to happen. So see, again, I just want to show what we're looking for. This is the consistency of mine. See how when you tilt your spoon, it takes a while to run down. It doesn't have to be quite as thick, but you do want it all that liquid to thicken up as much as possible. Any questions as you guys are looking at your mixture on the stove?
When you put it in the bowl, does it go in the fridge or the freezer? I'm sorry, I missed that.
No worries. I'm gonna go for the freezer just because we're gonna use it pretty quickly. So as soon as it's done and in the bowl, into the freezer if you've got room is great. Otherwise, the fridge also will work. I think there's another question. Just wait for me to get back. Okay. In the freezer, I can't close the freezer. 1 second again. Okay. Is there another question? Emma?
Is this how yours looked?
Let's see. Yeah, that looks great. I can tell by the way it's like keeping its shape on the sides that it's nice and thick. So that looks fantastic, Emma. Great job. And you can put that in your freezer to chill. Great job. Anybody else have any questions about their mixture, about if it's ready, about your next steps? Okay. I see some people still working on getting their mixture into a bowl. So I'm going to just wait before I do a check-in, but I'll check in soon to see when we're ready for our next step. Okay, if you are done and waiting, you can do a little bit of cleanup. So we don't need our cornstarch anymore, and we don't need any of our measuring cups or spoons. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you can do some tidying up if you need to get some stuff out of your way. The next thing we're gonna work on is we're gonna be working with our dough. So we're gonna need a clear space that we can roll out our dough.
Well, Kelly,
Yes.
I don't have a dough, but I have a pie crust.
Okay, so you're gonna have to make that, but what you might want to do is watch what we do, and then make it after class and assemble it after class. And I'll tell you why. So everybody has a pre-made dough already, and so what we're gonna do is get right to rolling it out and cutting it and filling it. So if you want to work simultaneously, if you want to work at the same time on different tasks, that's okay. Or you can watch this part and wait till after. Does that make sense? You're on mute, I think, Enrique. I didn't hear what you said.
I have a pie crust to roll on this.
Okay, are you going to make your pie crust now or are you going to wait? Enrique, you're on mute again. Do you want?
I have to roll it out.
Okay, so yours you're gonna have to make. So you're gonna have to follow the instructions on the box and put in what you need in your pie dough. Okay, because this is what we have going on here. Right, see how mine is already a dough? Can you tell? And then, so you right now have a flour mixture. So you're gonna have to put that together first and then do the step that we're about to do, the rolling out. In the freezer. So if you want to put your filling in the freezer, that will cool it down much quicker. Because all we need to do is roll out our dough and cut it, and then we're ready to put our filling in. We want to chill it down so that way it doesn't melt our pie dough. And I'm trying to unroll mine. There we go. So you see, I already have this pre-made pie dough, which I think a lot of you have. If you have something different, you can make your own pie dough and then follow this recipe once that is done. Okay, so who is ready for the next steps? This means that your pie filling is in the freezer and you're ready to start working with your dough. I see a bunch of thumbs up. Okay.
Kelly,
Data
sorry,
Yeah.
one more question.
Hold on 1 second, Joshi. Just hold on to your thought for 1 second. And Larissa, what's the question?
Yeah, we also accidentally bought pie crust instead of pie dough, but then we found puff pastry in the freezer. So is that okay as well to use?
Sure. It might turn out just a little bit different, but it would be very similar.
Yeah, so we cut out some kind of shape cards, but then we're gonna use the remaining dough to maybe make a square or something like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds great. You can totally use that. And so just your baking time might be different. So just keep an eye on that when we're baking. And actually maybe check the box of the puff pastry to see if they have a recipe, and maybe your temperature might be different too.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do that right now.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
Okay, awesome. No problem. And Joshi, did you have a question or something to share? You can unmute yourself if you have something to say.
We have a question.
We're gonna roll our out.
Awesome. Yeah, you're ready to roll out?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. Just 1 second and we'll do that all together. Great job. Go ahead, Veronica.
So what do we want to ask her?
I totally got him eating this.
Oh yeah, stop eating that. So we're wondering, do we put the blueberries in the freezer or the refrigerator?
Yeah, in the freezer would
Got it.
be great because we're going to use them really quickly. So that will help it cool a little bit faster.
Right.
And I actually, if you think it might be hot, yeah, this is actually cooling down pretty good. You can like actually give it a couple of mixes to help get that steam out, put it back in and keep chilling that. Okay, I think everybody is ready for pie dough. Anybody else have any questions?
Kelly,
Yes.
my dad needs more time for this one because he's mixing the dough.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll roll it.
you can just watch what we're doing and then do that once your dough is ready, okay? So I'm gonna do my first sheet right on my baking tray, okay? Well, you don't need to grease it or put anything on it. You could do parchment paper if you have filling coming out. It might get stuck to your tray. I'm actually gonna do parchment paper. You don't have to. So if you don't have it, you can just put it right on your tray and that's totally fine. I'm just gonna take this sheet. Okay, so I've taken out one of my pie crust and I'm gonna put the one edge here all the way at the bottom and then just roll it out. Okay, so we have our circle. Now, this part is optional, but I like to do it. To just thin out the pie crust a little bit, we're going to roll it with our rolling pin. So I'm just gonna, it's already pretty good. So I'm just gonna give it a couple of rolls forward and backward and then side to side. Okay. Again, it's optional. You can keep yours the way that it is. And when you have your pie dough rolled out like this, let me see with the thumbs up. Great, Judson and Larissa. Sorry, I have something on my screen. I don't know if I missed anybody else. I see Emma rolling. Great, Eva. Who needs more time on this stuff?
Do we put the dough in the baking tray?
Yep, so I have one sheet of dough on my baking tray. You're gonna have two. So one of them can go right on your baking tray and we can cut them and keep them there at that time. So one of them is going on your baking tray. Does anybody need more time before we cut? Hands up if you need more time. Rio, okay, no problem. Let me know with a thumbs up, Rio, when you're ready. Okay, awesome. Thanks for you. All right, so next we're gonna cut our shapes. So I'm gonna start by showing you if you have a cookie cutter. What you wanna do regardless is put your shape all the way to one of the edges, right? So we have room for all of our hearts. So I am not off the edge. See this? It's right to the edge. So I'm gonna have a full heart. I'm not off the edge like that. Right to the edge, and then you're just gonna press down, okay? You're gonna put all of your weight on those two hands and then lift up. We're gonna take it out of the dough once we do all of them. If you have the template, you're gonna put it down the same way and you're gonna cut around it with a knife, okay? So I have this little knife. You could probably get through it even with a butter knife or that Culikid safe knife. So I'm just gonna follow the guidelines of the heart. Okay, so yes, I have the cookie cutter, but this works if you have the paper template. Remember to put your heart as close to the edge as you can so you don't run out of dough to use. Okay, and you should go from one edge to another, and then you can lift it up and you'll have your heart. Okay, we need 4 out of each pie. I'm going to keep going. So I'm lining it up close to the edge of my heart. I can see I have room that I don't have to be right on top of it. I'm right to the edge. My point is in the middle, and I'm going to press down and then lift up And then I'm going to do this one like if I had a template. So I'm going to use my knife, and I'm being really careful. And I'm just following the guideline of the heart. And if you didn't want to do it like this, you could just cut them into other shapes. You could do squares, or you could do like triangles. So you could freeform it, but the reason that we're using a cutter is because we do want it to be the same, because one of these is going to go right on top of another one. And once we cut the other shape. Okay. So there you go. That one all the way through. Okay. So you should have 4 cuts in your pie. Did everybody get that step done? Thumbs up. Awesome. Great. Veronica, Zeta, Ava, Judson's. And how's everyone else doing? I see some cutting still going on. Oh, Larissa, great. And Sue, some cutting still happening. No problem over there, Emma. Shaking your head. Is that because you're not ready or you're having some issues? Are you good over there?
We're still cutting.
Okay, no worries. I just want to make sure that you didn't have any questions. It's totally fine to still be cutting. So we are still waiting for everybody, but in the meantime, you can just lift off this extra piece. And if you didn't get through all the way, so I'm seeing here my cookie cutter actually didn't get through, just take a knife or go over it again with your cookie cutter, pull this off. Until you have your 4 hearts. We're not going to do anything with this, but if you wanted to put this back together with your scraps of your other piece and re-roll it out and make another pie, you can do that, but we're just going to set it to the side for now. You can do something with that after class if you want. Okay. So right now we have our 4 hearts on the baking tray while we're waiting for everybody to get up to this step. And then lastly, what you can do is you can rearrange them. So we're going to bake them and fill them like this, with them 2 on top, 2 on bottom, and you can put them flat and straight like that if you'd like.
We're still
Still cutting?
Kelly.
Hold on one second.
some bad
Enrique. Hold on, Enrique. Emma, what were you saying?
Excuse me, Kelly, please.
One second, Enrique. Somebody else is talking right now. Go ahead, Emma. And Enrique, hold on to your thoughts.
Still working, but it's almost finished.
Okay, that's no problem. Just when you are done cutting, you can arrange your hearts like that on your board, on your baking sheet.
Kelly, I have some bad news.
Yes, Enrique, what's up?
Mine didn't work.
What happened?
Mine didn't work.
Is it too sticky?
Mine didn't work because it has a lot of water and it didn't work.
Okay, so if you have some flour, you can add some additional flour to your crust.
But we got flour.
Okay, great. So add some of that so that way you can handle it till it's not sticky with all that water.
Kelly.
Yes, who is that? I can't see who he's.
That's
What's yours?
actually
Great. Okay.
Sophia. Her name is Sophia.
Oh,
Mine is
Sophia. Okay.
Do you have to put butter or anything on the baking tray?
You do not. You can just bake it with no grease, no butter. I'm using parchment paper, but you don't have to do that either. You can just put it right on the tray.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I see Emma arranging hearts. Are you good for the next step? Great. Great job. Okay, so we are gonna set this to the side for now because we need space to cut our other dough. I'm gonna put mine out of shot because I don't want to put it on the oven where it's going to get warm. Okay, so we're gonna open up our other dough and do the same thing. I'm putting mine directly on my counter because it's clean. I cleaned it right before class. If you do not have a clean counter to put it on, either clean it and dry it off, or you can get another baking sheet or a cutting board or something like that if you need something under your counter, but this is just fine. Okay, so we have it. We have our next circle of pie dough, pie crust. Flat and ready to go, and optional, you can give it a roll. I'm not pressing too hard. I don't want it to get stuck to the counter. And then we're going to cut out those hearts the same exact way. So if you're using the template and you need some extra time, just go ahead and get started with that cutting whenever you're ready. All right, so I'm just flattening it out just slightly. I'm barely putting any pressure on that. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 with the cookie cutter and 2 as if they were a template. So I'm going to start with the template this time. So line your heart all the way to an edge because it's a circle. It doesn't matter where. You could start here and it still works. Your point is in the center. And I'm taking my knife and cutting around. So I'm going to start here. And I'm on my counter, but I'm being really light. So if you are using a knife and you are worried that you're going to put too much pressure on it, go ahead and put something underneath. Or you could use like a plastic knife. Okay, so we've got one heart. And then the next I'm going to use is a cookie cutter, lining up right next to it. And push down with 2 hands. I just saw this this question in the chat. Was that from just now, Gianni? What we're doing is we're cutting the hearts out of our second piece of pie crust. Okay, so however you did it the first time, whether it was with a cookie cutter or with the template, we're taking our second piece of pie crust and cutting out the shapes. So we're gonna have 4 hearts from each pie crust. So we need 8 altogether. Okay, lining it up to make sure I have room for all 4 hearts and pressing down. Okay, and last one I'm going to do with my knife like it is the template. Okay, so I've got my 4. Take your time if you're still working on it, don't worry. But you can, if you need to, pull your extra crust up. Let me show you.
Can I show you the box of the pie dough?
Sure.
Can you show me?
Hey Kelly, sorry to bother you. I just wanted to ask you, can you show me the box of the pie dough that you use?
Oh, for mine. Okay, I thought you were going to show me yours. So this is the pie crust that I used.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
So if you haven't bought it before, it's in the refrigerated section or at least for mine, and I think most of them would be the refrigerated section by the dessert. So if you can find things like pre-made cookie dough, that's where I got mine. Some stores might sell something similar frozen, so you can try in the frozen section as well, by like puff pastry and stuff like that. Okay, I see some still cutting, no problem. So I've cut my 4 and I've lifted up the extra, so I just have these 4. We are going to also pull them out of the way. So if you want, you can put them on a plate or something. I'm running out of counter space, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. These are now, it's their turn to get set to the side, because we're gonna bring back our sheet tray soon. Any other questions as we're working right now? Okay, is everybody done cutting? Thumbs up if you're done cutting your hearts. Okay, great. Zeta, Judsons, Emma, Sue, Gianni. Awesome, Veronica.
I'm doing it.
Great, Enrique. Okay, does anybody need more time on this? Hands up if you need more time. Thumbs up, Joshy, great. Okay, I think we're ready. So I'm going to take the ones that aren't on my baking sheet out of the way now and bring my baking sheet back. And now we're ready to grab our pie filling from our freezer. Great. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, great. This is nice and cooled down for us, so it's not going to melt our pie dough. Most pie doughs, unless you got a dairy-free kind, are made with butter. So if you put something really hot on it, it's going to start melting the butter inside and changing the way that it would bake. So let me clear this out a little bit so I have some space. So we're going to start filling this, and you need less than you think. If you put too much, it's going to come out the sides, which is also okay. So I'm just starting with a scoop, and I'm going to do another one, but you'll see I'm not going all the way to the edge. So you want to leave some blank dough on the edge, because that's how we're going to press it down. You don't want filling in the place that you're going to press it down. So doing another scoop over on this side. And kind of spreading it out into my heart shape. We want to, it's a tricky balance, because you want to fill the pie as much as possible, so that way every bite has some delicious filling and isn't just dough, but not too much that it pours out the side. So we're going to start with just that. So you see the amount that I have for my pie crust. I'm leaving about 1 inch on the side. So go ahead and do that, and see it's nice and flat too. I'm not putting a heaping amount on. That's going to make that come out the side as well. So we're going to do that for all of our 4 hearts, the 4 hearts that are in front of us. The other 4 are going to go on top. And don't feel like you have to use your whole pie filling, okay? So you can keep some extra on the side rather than overfilling your hand pies. So once that I scoop it in, I'm using my spoon to kind of shape the filling into the shape of a heart, leaving an edge the whole way around, right? So it's not getting filled into this little indent either. I'm making sure I have lots of room. That looks good. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, and I'm on my last one. And I'm not going to end up using all this filling, I can tell. Okay, if you're having any questions at this step, let me know. If you overfill one, you'll see it's not going to be that big of a deal. You'll see when we close them up how it all, how we can fix it. I'm going to take a picture of mine. They look really pretty. How does everybody else's look? Does anybody want to share anything? Those look great, Emma. Fantastic. And Veronica, those look awesome too. Great job. Everybody's filling looks awesome. Oh, can I slow down? Sorry about that. I'm waiting at this step, so we're not moving on to the next step. Don't worry. You just want an inch around the outside, scooping. We're being really nice and slow and meticulous about this. We want to make sure we get this right. And I just saw the Jetsons too really quick. That looks great. And remember, we're just topping 4. Okay, we need our other 4 to be empty. Great job, everyone. If you want to show how yours look, go ahead and put those into the camera for us to see. If you have any questions, let me know. Great job, Gianni. Those look great. Ava, all done? Awesome. Okay, does anybody need more time on this step? Hands up if you need more time. Okay, I don't think I saw any. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is top them. So I'm grabbing my other hearts and I'm going to take one, put it right on top of the other, line it up nice and as evenly as I can. And do that for all of them. We're going to seal them after. So just lay them on top for now. Okay, so they're all prepped to be sealed. From what I can see, those look great. Thanks, Veronica. Awesome.
I did it.
Great job. Those look great. Great job, Enrique. You did awesome catching up to that. So once you have those, you can put your pie filling in. Okay. Is everybody else ready for next steps? Thumbs up. Awesome. Ryu. Let's see. Head nods from Zeta, Veronica, Ava, Judson. Okay. Maybe you need more time on this. Hands up if you need more time. Hands up, hands up. Is there a question? Joshy, you're good? Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna seal them. So I'm grabbing a fork. We're gonna use a fork to seal the edges. So I'm gonna start here, and you'll be careful not to get your other one. You can move it out of the way, and I'm just going to do what we call crimping with a fork, and I actually went a little too far. Press down, but not all the way through to seal the top layer to the bottom layer. Okay, can everybody see that? Let me do the other side to make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, see that? So we're crimping those down to seal our pies. So you want to be firm, but not too much that it goes all the way through. And then you want the fork marks to be close to each other. So you want to go right next to the one that you just did, and see I'm turning my tray to get a better angle. You can do that, or you can turn your fork all the way around. And so far I haven't had any pie filling come through, I think because we got it nice and thick. Oh, I just have a tiny bit, so you'll see that's what happens if you have a little bit come through. It's okay. If you have a lot of liquid that comes through, then just use like a paper towel and just wipe it off. A couple places that my pie filling is almost coming through, but not so much that we have to worry about that. Okay, so this is what my finished one looks like. You can see this. So fork marks all the way around.
I did it.
Great job, Enrique. Okay, so then repeat that for all of your hearts. And my fork is like kind of sticking to the dough, so I'm just sliding it out rather than lifting it up if it feels like it's sticking a little bit. Right, 2 are done for me. Keep going, take your time wherever you are is great. Trying to strike a balance of firm but gentle. Here we go. I've got some filling coming out now. And the only reason it really matters is because of looks. And then the edges might just burn a little bit. So if you have some pie filling coming out like I do there, I'll show you in a little bit. You can just take that paper towel and dry it off, wipe it off. So that way you don't have a burnt edge, but if you do, it's fine. It'll just be a little bit overcooked or on that side, but it'll still taste good. Okay, so I have that one has some filling coming out. I'm just gonna wipe it off. And then I'm gonna go to my last one. Okay, so mine are all pressed. I'm gonna pause there, keep pressing them, crimping them if you haven't finished. I'm gonna wipe off my spots that I don't want the filling on. Okay. Oops. Okay. How are we all doing? Any questions? No? Okay, awesome. The ones I can see look great. You see some crimping still going on. Nice, Emma and Gianni. And I can see Veronica's right now too. Joshy, I think I see yours. Nice. Nice. Those look great, Joshy. Okay, who needs more time on this step? Hands up if you need more time. Good, good, good. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. All right, we have 3 small
Kelly, I need a
steps.
little bit of time, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna just
a
talk.
couple more minutes for this.
Okay, I'm gonna talk through a couple of things. We are at 12 o'clock, so I wanna let everybody know we're finished together and they're gonna go into the oven and we're going to, they're gonna bake on their own. We have 3 very small things that are going to happen next. We are going to put an egg wash on these. We're going to cut slits in it to let the steam out, and we're gonna top it with sugar. Once that those 3 things are done, you can put it in your oven. Good, Enrique?
We're good.
Awesome. So let's start with that egg wash. So we are going to crack an egg into a small bowl, and you're going to give it a couple of firm taps on the counter, not too firm, like a soft knock. So we have a little bit of a crack, and then I'm going to break it apart into the bowl. Okay, if you got egg on your hands, wash your hands. And then we are going to whisk it with a fork, just to combine the egg yolk and egg white. Okay. Good to go. Once you have it whisked up, go ahead and take a pastry brush and paint it onto your hearts. You want to cover the whole thing if you can, all the way to all of the edges. Okay, 1 done, and keep going for all 4. Okay, 2 done. And you just want it to be a light wash on it, right? So if you have too much, then just take your brush and spread it all around. The reason that we're doing this is to give our
I did it.
great job. The reason we're doing this is to give our pie a nice shiny finish when it finishes baking. So if you didn't have an egg or wanted to stay egg free, you could skip this and it would still taste good. Okay, on to my last one. Okay, so mine are all done. I'm going to set this to the side. We don't need that. Okay, how are our egg washes? Done? Jetson's awesome. Ava, Ryu, I know Enrique said done. See, some still working. Larissa and Sophia, thank you, good. And Veronica, great, great, great. Joshua, great. All right, I know some people are still working, but we can grab our sugar, so we're ready. And just like a small spoon. This is not going to be an exact measurement, the sugar part. Okay, for the sake of our timing, I'm just going to demo the next step. So if anybody's still working, just watch. And then again, this is optional too. If you want to skip this, you could. So I took a small scoop of sugar into my hand. That actually might even be too much. Into my hand, which is clean. And I'm pinching with my other hand and sprinkling over the top. Moving my hand so that way as I sprinkle, it covers the entire pie. And I'm going to do that for all of them. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. It's just to add a little bit more sweetness as well as like a little bit of crunch on the top too. So it's not anything, it's not too much. You're not putting it all in one place. You're just putting a little dusting all over your pie. Okay, and mine is done. I'm going to just like dump out the rest of this sugar into the sink or trash. Wash my hands off that have sugar on them, and then I'll come back and check in with you all. Okay, great work, everyone. Let's see. The last thing we need to do is create some slits in our pie to let out the steam. If you don't have some slits, your pie might like puff up, keep the steam in, or the steam might try to escape by breaking out of the side. So I'm gonna just do like a little X right in the center. I'm using this knife and I'm going very gently right in the center, okay? I'm like almost barely even through my dough. You can go straight through until you're hitting blueberry, or you can make that little crease that's partially there. Nice and gentle, 2 little slashes. Okay. That is the last thing. So I'll put my screen back down so you can see. So we're just making slashes into our hearts. And again, that's important for us to do to let the steam out. If anybody wants to put theirs into the frame to see, that would be so awesome. If you're done. And I can try to actually get a picture if I can. There we go. Great. I see people are still working. That's in the picture. That's awesome. Great, everybody. If your face is in the picture, go ahead and smile on 3. You can pause what you're doing or keep working. 1, 2, 3. Great job. Okay, that looks so good. It's okay if you're still working. I will repeat this, but we can go in the oven for anybody who is ready. I am getting my oven mitts, opening my oven, and then taking my tray. It is flat, so I'm not going to drop everything, pushing it in and closing the door. Okay, and that's going to bake for 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to just double check that for us. Yep. So always start on your lower end of the timer. So I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. And you'll know yours is done when your pie dough is nice and golden brown and crispy. Okay, so you 425.
425.
Yep. So whenever you finish yours, 425 in the oven for 20 minutes and check it. If it's still a little bit pale and your pie dough doesn't look quite crispy, then you can just add a couple more minutes and keep checking until it is done. Great job. It looks like most people are in the oven. Great job to everybody. Lots of different things going on, some challenges in the kitchen, but we all overcame them. Don't forget to send me pictures. I'd love to see how they turn out. And I hope you guys had fun. You can share your hand pies with your family and friends and loved ones for Valentine's Day. And
I put the pies in the oven.
Awesome. Great. Is everybody all in the oven? Everybody's good?
Can it
Thank
be
you,
using
Candy.
air fryer?
Oh, sorry. go
I'm sorry?
ahead.
Can we use air fryer instead of the regular oven?
I actually have never used an air fryer myself, but I think you probably can do a lot of things in there, so you can try it. You can actually probably, if you want to just Google like air fryer hand pies, they might have some instructions for you for how long to do that in there and what you need to do.
Yeah,
But I think you can.
The oven, but I'm not,
Ah.
just later. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I don't have an air fryer myself, so I'm not familiar, but I've seen that you can make quite a number of things in there. So definitely see if you can give it a try. Does anybody have any questions about their finishing up, checking for doneness, anything?
I just wanted to say thank you. We had an extreme challenge today because our water got turned off. So if you see some pots in the
Oh,
background,
Kelly, I have to ask you something.
Hold on, Enrique. Yeah, no problem. I'm so glad that you guys overcame no water. That's awesome. So hopefully that comes on later.
It has to be like a little brownish on the top, and then we'll know that it's done, right?
Yep. Yeah. So you want it to be
Okay.
nice and golden brown and crispy too.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you
Yeah,
very
no
much. Katie.
Yeah, no problem.
So-
Enrique, did you have
thank you.
anything else?
Yeah, how can you send me a picture?
How can we send it?
I mean,
Oh.
how can we send you a picture?
Okay, so whoever registered for the class, the adults who registered, I have emailed before, so they can email me directly, or you can email info, INFO, at culikid.org. It is in the chat, and I'm going to just send it one more time. And then,
Can we say it one more time?
sure, I just put it into the chat too, so if you see it visually, if it's
All right,
easier.
put it on the visual. All right, it's on the chat.
Yep,
Put it on the chat.
info at culikid.org or on our social media. And then I'm
Remember-
also going to email you on Monday. And so if you forget before then you'll get that
Info-
reminder on Monday.
Info, what is it?
Info Khalid. On the chat.
There you
That's
go. Sorry, I had too
Info
many words.
at culikid.org.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I can't wait to see all of your hand pies. They look fantastic already. Great job, everybody. Any last questions? No? Okay, well, thank you again.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your weekend. Happy
Oh,
Valentine's
Thank you,
Day.
Kelly.
You're
I'm sorry.
welcome.
I have a question.
Bye, Kelly. Bye, Rue. Bye, Larissa. Bye, Ava.
Bye.
Bye, Ava.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye, Erokana. Bye, Emma.
Bye,
Bye,
bye. I'm sorry.
Judison. Bye, Suki. See you guys in another day.
Bye. Was there another
Have
question
fun.
on the call before we left?
Bye.
Sorry, Kelly. Is there something that we can do with the remaining filling? Can we put it in like on a pie crust and just bake it? Do we have to like cover, if we put it in a pie crust, do we have to like cover it or just let it cook?
You don't have to cover it. So if you have like if you have some remaining pie crust, or like, so I just have a little bit. So if you have like a mini tart shell or something like that, you could do that.
Put a pie crust, like instead of, yeah, so we can just dump it in there and cook it as well the same way.
Yeah, and then you could also use it as like a syrup, like a blueberry syrup on waffles. It is a little thick, so you could like heat it up with add some water to it to you know, add some syrupiness to it, and you could use it for like pancakes and waffles and stuff like that too if you wanted.
Okay. Well, we'll try to put it in the pie crust, see what comes out.
Okay, great. Best of
Thank
luck.
you very much,
Thanks
Kelly.
for baking with us. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you next
Bye.
time.